Hi, Sue here from Suffolk Mind. Do you just sometimes think, I'm just a bit bored with this pandemic? I've had enough, or I'm just fed up with, sometimes I just want to stay in bed and pull the duvet over and hope it's all going to go away. Um, Another way of looking at it might be like, it feels like you're in a tunnel with a light at the end of the tunnel, but the light keeps moving or changing or stuff like that. And sometimes it feels a really long way away. Yeah, that's probably most of us are feeling at that some of the time. And I guess the first thing to notice is that it's some of the time, not all of the time. And if that changes from all of the time to some of the time, then that's a shift because it's all about shifting and changing and perhaps looking differently up with our perspectives. One way of looking at it is to pick a different metaphor, a different picture, other than being in a tunnel. Or you could be pushing out of the tunnel, bringing a sparkler into the tunnel, or something like that. Some other ways of thinking about it have been cruising or surfing the wave, haven't they? The wave of COVID, the thing that goes up and down. Life always goes a bit up and down, and it's just now at the moment we're having to learn new skills, aren't we, to stay on the surfboard, to stay, well, and meeting our needs for community and privacy and connection and physical health and emotional health, and just paying a bit more attention to that. Another thing I've been thinking about when I was wondering about this was things to look forward to. Sometimes it feels like we've got something planned and it's been taken away, and that feels really disappointing. And it is key to have something to look forward to, something that we feel like we're focusing outward on. Perhaps it's a small achievement or a big achievement. Um, and the way to explore that is perhaps to think about things that you do enjoy, things that you were looking forward to before that you perhaps can't do now. But what are the components of that? Unpick them a bit. So, for example, I love sort of the idea of wild camping, and this summer I actually did it. I actually packed up my tent and everything and did a walk along a local coastal walk and camped, at night, wild camping and cooked, cooked out on the beach and did all that stuff. And I really love that sort of thing. So what I'm doing to compensate for that kind of now, and it's winter, of course, is I've got a fire pit. So I'm lighting a fire and sitting outside sometimes with a fire pit, even cooking supper on there occasionally. And that gives me that sense of adventure. And possibly within restrictions outside, I might meet with another person there, or somebody else in my bubble or something. So to add to that and put it in the diary. We're going to have a fire pit tonight, and I've also had one session of sort of trying to sing around the fire, 2 or 3 other people with the fires in their gardens, and doing some sort of storytelling and singing. So that was something I did, and it took the component of wild camping and something that I could control that wouldn't get changed by the environment. The other thing I'm missing is like going into London and doing stuff, or going somewhere, the big city. I live in the country, doing something a bit different. And that's been met a bit by booking theatre tickets and online and watching theatre, and again, having a meal and sitting with people in my family to do that. And again, that's something I can pop in the diary. And the other thing I've done recently is have a staycation. I was due to go away for a few days, had a cottage booked. Lockdown came, couldn't do it. So actually, I still put my out of office on and still didn't work, didn't look at my email, didn't do the normal things I would do in a work sort of schedule, and did staycation things. So didn't have a list, didn't do anything I didn't want to. Stayed in bed late, stayed in my pajamas one of the days most of the time. Watched a film in the afternoon, did the sort of things I might do. Went for a good long walk, and just generally wasn't driven by a list, and that felt really, really good. And again, nobody could take that away from me. That wouldn't change. So I don't know if that gives you some ideas about things to look forward to, things to focus on, because you all have different ways of doing that. To me, we're all very individual, but it's about unpicking what you do enjoy and what can you take of that into what's happening now. And my final thought is about kind of the flip side, or the reframe of COVID, and a couple of things like, what have we learned? What's it brought me? And that's been quite interesting. And certainly, I think we and I have learned better to cope with the unpredictability of it. learn to value different things that are more permanent, perhaps, like my friendships and my community, my local community. And yeah, look at it that as a reframe. So anyway, I hope some of those ideas were interesting. Do blog or reply to Suffolk Mind if you've had any thoughts yourself, and keep in touch with us, and do follow other messages and talks that people are giving.